Hi, everyone. I know that there's a little bit of a delay with Facebook Live, but I'm just going to get started because I know your time is valuable and I want to make sure I get all the information that I want to talk about in here. So first of all, I want to just thank Monique and Jeremiah for inviting me to be able to talk to the group. I've been in this group for about a year and I've been loving it, and I'm so excited that that I'm in here. Not only that, but that there's so many resources that now I get to share with my team. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Felina. Okay, so if you have not heard me talk about the power of your mind, I'm not going to go through the same old stuff that I usually talk about. I'm going to refer you to go and watch one of my videos on my website at Yeh-Garner, all one word.com, in the guided imagery. There's 3 laws of the mind that's super important. I'll run through them, but I'm not going to even discuss it in detail. But the power of your mind is super duper insanely amazing, and we're not harnessing that power at all. And so I'm going to teach you some things to pay attention about in terms of your thought process so that you can harness that power, because we all have it within us. We just have to know how to work it. So there's 3 laws of the mind, and like I said, you can learn a little bit more about the 3 laws in one of my videos on my website. But law number 1 is that for every thought you have, there's a physical or chemical change. So every single thought you have creates a physical or chemical change. So I was just reading The Happiness Advantage by Sean Achor, and he talks about this. It's all about mindset in terms of being happy and being more successful with your life. So the placebo effect is something that is proof that that every single thought that you have creates some kind of physical or chemical change, okay? And in his book, he's got research that shows that the placebo effect is 55 to 60% as successful as the medical treatment. Okay? Like, what? So when they do a medical experiment, they take a control group. They take a group of people that have the same illness or symptom, and they divide it in half. And the control group gets no treatment. And then the treatment group gets the experimental treatment. And in that control group of people that aren't getting any kind of treatment, the placebo effect, that just the thought of taking the pill or possibly getting the treatment creates the physical and chemical changes that create healing, 55 to 60%, according to his book. That's a way bigger number than I had ever heard. So that just goes to show you that your thought process is super duper important to pay attention to. Every thought creates a physical chemical change. Second rule or law of the mind is that you can only think one thing at a time. But what we think about and how we think is usually what gets in the way, right? We can say till the cows come home, November's gonna be amazing. However, we usually have this extra little commentary afterwards that negates the initial November's going to be amazing, okay? So we usually say I'm going to do great in November, but I don't know, I don't know if anybody's going to show up to my workshops. I don't know if, and all these doubting statements, negative Nancy statements, the Debbie Downer statements of I can't do it, I'm afraid to do it, yada, yada. All of those things come after that I'm going to do amazing in November, right? And so if the law of the mind number 2 is that you can only think one thing at a time, when we have these conflicting thoughts of I want this but blah, 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 or I'm scared of, and so I'm not going to do it, then those thoughts get canceled out. And then your brain is I don't know what you want me to do. And it just kind of stays stuck. So it's really important that when there's tons of noise in our head, that we take a moment, apply some grounding oil or some frankincense. Hello, free frankincense this month. And get grounded, right? And just really find a way to just take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, get grounded, and stop all of the extra noise and just put into your head the thought of what you want. Not what you don't want, but what you want. I want November to be even bigger than October. We're on a roll. November, December, just going to be like mind-blowing. That's it. No extra little, but what if, worst case scenario, yada, yada, all of that extra negative stuff that typically comes afterwards. Just the statement of what you want. That's why affirmations are so important and useful, setting intentions, praying for what you want, not praying for what you don't want, setting the intentions and putting the thought of what you truly want out there. Which brings me to law number 3. Your thoughts precede your reality. They actually create your reality. Your thoughts are little waves of energy that go out into the universe, out into the atmosphere. And quantum physics has shown this to be true. So if our thoughts are going out there and all we're thinking are worried thoughts, worst case scenario thoughts, fearful thoughts, negative thoughts, doubting thoughts, then no wonder we're feeling stuck. No wonder we're not growing our business, and no wonder our team isn't doing well, right? And so you have to check how you're thinking and what you're thinking. If you're feeling like, oh, my team is just like stagnant and nothing's happening, like, you need to cancel that, delete that thought, and put in the thought of what you truly want. I want my team to be motivated. I know my team's going to grow. They're rock stars. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. No what ifs. No worst case scenario. Okay. So we tend to have these like conflicting thoughts, right? And all these like worst case scenarios. And we need to get rid of that thought process. So November, okay, fall is like our busier time of the year. People are getting back into the schedule of school. Things are happening where, you know, your immune system's constantly being compromised and people want to stay healthy. And the holidays are coming up and it can be stressful because seeing family, even though it can be nice, it can also be stressful, right? So we have a choice to make in how we think about November and December and this whole next couple of months. We can choose to think about it as like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so stressful. And like, there's so many things and so many holiday things that I have to like take care of and presents to buy and like, oh my gosh, and house decorating and yada, yada. Like, how am I ever going to like focus on my business? I'm just not going to have any time, right? Like, how many of you have thought that kind of a thing? Or you can switch your thinking and just shift it a little bit and focus on the opportunities that are going to come up, okay? In the summer, you're busy with summer stuff. In the fall and winter, we're starting to get into our habits. We're starting to get into the groove. For all of you who have kids in school, like, it's been long enough that you're in a routine, you've got the sports stuff going on, and you kind of have sort of a schedule. And then as you look through November and December, you've got added little things for holiday stuff, right? So instead of being all stressed out about like, how am I going to make this all work? Focus on, it's just going to work. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to have so many new opportunities to talk and share about oils. Because at all of these holiday get-togethers, you're going to be wearing your favorite oils. You're going to be smelling amazing. You're going to be gifting oily gifts, right, to the hostess or to your friends. And you're going to have, if you have people over, you're going to have your Christmas spirit in your diffuser. And your house is going to smell amazing. And you're going to have your thieves hand foaming soap in the bathroom and another little diffuser in the bathroom. And so people are just going to see all of the lifestyle changes that you've made, and that is going to open up the door to having a conversation about oils with these people that maybe haven't been watching your Facebook as closely or have been, but haven't had the opportunity to ask or didn't want to ask on Facebook. But now that they're in your home, or now that you're at a holiday work party or a holiday neighborhood party, face to face, they might feel more comfortable asking, like, so what's the deal with this oil stuff, right? So instead of thinking like, oh, these next couple months are going to just be so stressful, cancel that, delete it, and focus on what you want to have happen. I'm going to have ample time to get everything I need to have done. I'm going to have so many new opportunities falling into my lap because of all these other people that I don't normally get to see or talk to. And November and December are just going to be huge months for growth from just not only me, but for my entire team. Okay. And so you're going to relay that message to your team and show them that just by shifting the thought process, it's going to create the energy that you want, right? Energy bus, you want like to create that kind of energy. The Soup book by John Gordon as well. Like you want to stir the soup and create the community and create the energy of what you want, not what you don't want. So focus on, instead of busy, focus on increased opportunities. Instead of feeling weird about making money off of your friends, shift the thought process to owning the fact that this business is giving you the opportunity to change people's lives, right? Like how many of you have gotten messages from people that you've sold a kit to that are just like, oh my gosh, this is life changing. Like I'm now able to sleep through the night, or my baby, or whatever, right? Like you've gotten messages from people that you've sold a kit to that prove that these oils, it's not just a dollar sign, like, woohoo, I'm making money. Like this is changing people's lives. We've got like such an amazing line of products that instead of being like, ooh, I don't want to share because I don't want to like feel weird about making money off my friends. No, like shift it to know that like when I sell a kit to my friend, I am changing that person's life. I'm giving them the opportunity to be empowered about their health and their wellness. I'm giving them a wellness cabinet full of products that they can go to at any moment's notice without having to rely on someone else's opinion of what they need to do, using some kind of pharmaceutical, something that's going to give them side effects, right? So thinking about like every dollar that you make as a certificate of health. Somebody at one of the John Maxwell events said that, and that was like another like mind-blowing thing for me. Like, oh my gosh, thinking about every dollar that you make as a certificate of health, proof that you are changing people's lives. You're giving these people a certificate of health with their PSK, and owning the fact that this business is a legit business model. And yes, you're making money off your friends, but hallelujah, you get to help change their lives. Like, how amazing is that? So check where you feel discomfort about the business and shift your thought process about that, okay? Find a way to shift it. Maybe talk to your enroller or somebody to figure out a way to kind of make that fear or doubt or like weirdness within you change, so that you can just own the fact that this is what you're doing. You're sharing about oils, you're educating people about oils first and foremost, and that it's a valuable thing that you are doing, and that you're worth getting paid for that, okay? So instead of thinking, oh, this is weird making money off my friends, shift that thought to, it's a certificate of health. You're empowering your friends and your family to become people that can take care of themselves. And remember that what you're building now, that you're going to harvest that in the next 1 to 3 months. There's kind of like this 90-day cycle. And so what you put into the business now, you might have posts that you do that don't get any kind of likes, any kind of comments or whatever, besides having like your team members comment. But that's laying the foundation for the harvest that's going to be happening in the next month, 2 months, 3 months down the line. So instead of feeling like, oh, nothing I'm doing is working, nobody's coming to my online workshops, like nobody's commenting or liking my posts, know that people are seeing it and put out the intention, like send the energy out, right? Law number 3 is that your thoughts precede your reality. So instead of being like, oh, it's not working and like nobody comments, put the energy out there, put your thought process out there of it's reaching the people that you want to reach. They're just not quite ready. That even if there's like crickets on your post, that there's still people reading. You can't tell through the Facebook algorithm or Instagram algorithm who and how many people have viewed your post. You can only see how many people have liked it, given it hearts, or commented. But that doesn't mean that there's not just a whole nother crap ton of other people who have looked at it and read it. And those people are still just reading the information and they need a little bit more time, but you're laying that foundation. So know that whatever you're doing for your business, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're spinning your wheels, that you need to check how your thought process is about what you're doing and shift it so that you can create the reality that you want, so that you are creating the physical and chemical changes of excitement, of energy, of motivation, of inspiration for yourself and for your team. Make sure you're manifesting what you want. You've got this power within you, and this power of your thought process, of your subconscious brain, is so connected to the universe and to God, right? Like the universe, God, like whatever you believe, created us, created our brains, created this magnificent world that we live in. And the universe, God, whatever you believe in, has like a way bigger plan for us than we could ever imagine. But what we tend to do is we want to micromanage the plan. We want to have control over the plan. And so then we start thinking about like the 5 billion things that possibly could work. And then we get lost in the shuffle. And what we really need to do is use our grounding, use our frankincense, and get centered and trust that if I just tell the universe or God what I want and focus on the end goal, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, knows the right pathway. Instead of you saying like, I need to go this way and I'm fighting what the universe and God really wants. Maybe I need to actually go this way, which might not be in my comfort zone, but I'm holding so tight to wanting to go this direction because this is my comfort zone and this is what I know and this is what has worked for me, that I'm not open to seeing the other possibilities that are all over here. And when we can let go and just trust that the end result of what I want November to just be so insanely amazing, even better than October. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm going to do my income producing activities. I'm going to be encouraging my team to be doing those income producing activities. I'm going to be doing my usual stuff that I do to motivate and inspire my team and get them going. I'm going to still be sharing and selling kits and doing workshops. And I'm just going to trust that whatever needs to happen to make November even more amazing, besides the income producing activities that I normally do, that will just fall into my lap. And I swear that statement of just things falling into my lap that need to happen, if I say that on a regular basis, they just fall into my lap. Like I consistently say to myself, I have kit sales and killer business people falling into my lap all the time. No ifs, ands, or buts, no what ifs, no worst case scenario, no like, how am I going to do this? I don't doubt it. I just put that thought process out into the universe, out into the atmosphere, and it comes back. I consistently sell 1 kit a month now, 4 years into this, and have like one business person show up out of nowhere that has never commented, never liked, never talked to me about oils before, but have been watching my posts all along this whole journey. And then they all of a sudden, at their right time, they come to me and they're ready. So I put that energy out there of what I want. I put the thought process out there, and I just trust that it's going to happen. The universe, God, whatever, is going to make it happen in whatever way it needs to happen. And I don't want to control the process. It's just going to happen however it needs to happen, okay? And so another thing I want you guys to be mindful of is fear. We let fear get in the way of so many things, and we stop at that moment of, oh, I don't want to like go beyond that because that's scary and that I might get rejected or I'm like whatever, right? Failure is good, and that's a total shift of thought process from what we've been taught, right? Like we're always taught like, be number one, be the best you can be. Well, many of us get stuck in, oh, if I'm not going to be the best, then I'm just not going to share or I'm not going to try, right? So shift your thought process so that failure is a good thing. Ooh, okay? Yeah, failure is a good thing. That means you put effort out there, you did something, and it's going to be a learning opportunity for you. It's not a failure in that like, oh, you do this one thing and nothing happens and like your business blows up and you don't have a business, right? No, like you put your energy out there, you do something different, something scary, something that you're not used to, and you see how it works. And then you refine it and you change and you learn from it. So instead of looking at like, ooh, I don't want to fail, I don't want to like fall on my face and be totally, embarrassed or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, just do it and learn from it, and you will grow from it. And the more that you can look at failure as an opportunity versus like being scared of failure, so I'm just not even going to do that thing, then you're going to grow as a person. And the more you grow as a person and as a leader, the more your team is going to grow. So like, this is not my favorite thing, doing Facebook Lives, but I had to learn and push myself to do it. Like 5 minutes before this, my heart was racing. I was like, oh my gosh, get the light. Like an hour before this, I was like setting up the lights and like I had to get rid of a bunch of junk that was like behind me. And I was like, I could have gotten stressed out and I could have been like, I can't do this. But I just knew, okay, there's still a bunch of junk right behind me. It doesn't look picture perfect, but oh well, it's a little better than what it was like before I cleaned up. I have my notes here on a piece of paper because I knew I wasn't going to be able to remember everything. And I'm saying a lot, and it's okay, right? Like no one's judging me for that. And hopefully you guys are getting something good out of my talk, and that's the purpose, right? Like, and I'm going to learn to do better the next time. This is the first time I've written notes. Usually I don't have notes. I've learned that when I get online, I think like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk like for 15 minutes, but then I like add in other stuff and get lost and go down a different path in terms of what I was intending to talk about. So I need the notes. So I've learned that, okay? So use the opportunities of failure as ways to learn about yourself so that you can grow as a leader. And allow yourself to feel the negative feelings. There are going to be peaks and valleys to this business. It's not all going to be like, wee, this is super fun. Like even though your bar graph of your OGV might be pretty consistently going up, the reality is there's going to be some ups and downs, whether it's in your OGV, whether it's in your growth, or whether it's in your feelings yourself. So the important thing to do is to acknowledge those negative feelings of doubt, of fear, of failure. And instead of just like shoving them down, which is what we typically do, and like putting it in that compartment and like closing the door and saying like, I'm not going to deal with that, moving on, like acknowledge it, feel the feelings, allow yourself to feel the feelings, honor them, honor the negative stuff, honor it. And when you can honor those negative feelings, it helps you release them, so that instead of shoving it deep down wherever, which then just kind of festers, if you honor it and process it and acknowledge it and say, yeah, that period of time really sucked and that was really hard. Okay, and use your release oil, use whatever oils you want, and acknowledge it, honor it, and process it. Then you aren't carrying that around anymore, or you're carrying it less than the bigger chunk of it that you would have tried to shove deep down. And when you can do that, that allows you to see more opportunity, because then you're, instead of wasting so much energy shoving down the negative feelings of doubt, of fear, of rejection, of whatever, it takes a lot of energy to do that. We typically don't really realize that, but it takes a lot of energy, unconscious, subconscious energy, to keep all that stuff down. So honor it, take some time, feel the feelings, cry if you need to, and process it. And then all that energy that was keeping all that negativity and fear and doubt and anger and whatever down can then be used for the goodness that you want to give to the world in terms of sharing about oils. Okay, so I've talked a long time, and I planned for this to be 20 minutes, and now it's 27 minutes. But if anyone has questions, feel free to write them down here, and I'm going to scroll through and see if there's anything I need to answer. The book is called Happiness Advantage. Sean Acor was one of the keynote speakers from last year's convention. And the book is really small font. The beginning part is a little dry, but once you get into it, I'm finding that it's fascinating, because I just love anything about like the thought process and the power of the mind. And all he talks about is, in order to be successful, you have to be happy. So if you're not a happy person, that can be a learned skill, and it really has to do with your thought process. Okay, and my website is carolyeh-garner.com, and I have a couple of my workshops that I've done at convention and for my team on there, which talk more in depth about the laws of the mind, how to get rid of blockages, and walks you through 2 guided imageries that will help you get rid of the fears and the doubts and the negative thought process. There's also 2 little podcasts that I've done for Young Living on there that are like little 10-minute podcasts, just the audio, and they're just like stress reduction kind of guided imagery meditations. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, just take 10 minutes, go listen to that. It's going to help you be more centered and grounded, and that will help you be able to focus better on what you really want to do with your business instead of being all like in your head. Okay, what if you love the oils, but there are a few products you're not completely thrilled with? Do you still pursue the business? Yep. We've got tons of oils. We've got tons of other products besides those products that have questionable ingredients, right? The great thing about Young Living is that they listen to us. So if you are not wanting certain ingredients in your products, use that feedback button in the VO and let them know. They are constantly looking at what's in their products 10 years ago. I mean, this company's been around for 24 years, right? So 24 years ago, even 10 years ago, what the ingredients that they thought were healthier and safer might not be the best now. And so they need feedback from the field to know that this is a big enough issue that they need to address it. So be sure to give feedback on a regular basis. And, you know, just don't promote those products. We've got so many other amazing products that you can promote, right? But instead of focusing on like, ugh, Young Living has like these like 5 things that I just like, ugh, why don't they get rid of these products or this ingredient? Like that is going to stall your business, right? So shifting your thought process to like all of the other amazing products and just focusing on growing your business based on those products, that's going to help you grow instead of focusing on like the little percentage of negative stuff that's going on in the ingredient list. How can you encourage a team member to focus on this changing mindset when they really aren't interested or don't seem interested? Do you let it go or you keep pushing? You let it go. You know, you can ask them, you know, are you coachable? Are you motivated for this? That's something that I learned at the Everything Starts With You retreat that just happened this past weekend. Ask them, like, how open are you to doing this business? Because I'm kind of seeing that your thought process about it tends to be kind of negative. Like as a leader of your team, you kind of have to say some hard stuff at times. And finding out first, are you open to having like an open conversation about this business and your role? And if they're like, not really, then don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But if they're like, well, yeah, then let them know like what I'm kind of seeing with, and have some examples. What I'm kind of seeing is that you're kind of shooting yourself in your foot with your thought process. I just, you know, learned from Carol about the laws of the mind, go watch her video or whatever. But here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you say like these yes, but statements, and that like every time you want to do something, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you're also saying like this negative thing. And so I would really encourage you to be really mindful of your thought process and just focus on what you want. Go watch Carol's video, and after you watch it, come talk to me and let's have a discussion. I think that that's totally a fine thing to do. And then if they don't follow up, then I would leave it alone, right? Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, that's it. Okay, I've taken up enough of your time and I don't see any questions. So thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that this video has given you some tools to really process and to help you make November and the rest of your business just so amazing and so abundant and awesome. Okay, just really pay attention to your thought process, because we all have this amazing power within us. The universe and God gave it to us, and we're squandering it by not thinking the right way. So take back your power and use it for good, and use it so that you can help create the life that you want and the business that you want. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask them, and I will be checking this post so that I can answer them later. Okay? Bye. Have a great day.